Hello, I'm PDYX.
And I'm AntKeepsGaming, and welcome to Playing It Wrong, the show where we play random online Nintendo games and talk about them.
That's right, each episode we're going to take one random NES game and one random SNES game from the games available on the NSO service on the Nintendo Switch, and we're going to play them for at least 30 minutes each and talk about our opinions of those games.
Playing It Wrong, Episode 5.
Alright, so it's Episode 5, and we played two new games this week. It was Donkey Kong Jr. for the NES and Doomsday Warrior for the SNES. How's your experience of this week?
Not a good one at all.
No?
No,
Not a good one?
Not even for Donkey Kong Jr., I'm afraid. And
No?
People, yeah, I know, I've got very bad opinions.
Really? Okay.
Well, one, I completed Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong Jr. Really quickly, and it took me 10 minutes, but then I did use the rewind feature quite a lot. Not still the champion of rewind features and going back and save states is still Demon's Crest, so that's still the champion of that. I'm just saying this right now. If you guys haven't watched our previous episodes, so definitely watch. Well, one, I had to get a feel for the game first, but also the controls are bad as well.
For Donkey Kong Jr., right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So when you jump, you don't just jump on the spot, you jump, but you automatically jump to the side or forward or however you want to say it. Like you don't control it, you jump and you go forward. You don't even control that bit, which I found.
I mean, it's a pretty old game. This game's from 1982.
Yeah.
And it is super short, like you said.
Very short,
which,
yeah.
I mean, I think I kind of liked it for that reason. I think I actually liked this one. I mean, it's not a modern game, but it's short. So, you can beat it. You can see, hey, if you want to have a quick experience, I enjoyed it. Yeah, the controls are a little clunky, but it's so short that, like, once you kind of it takes a little getting used to, but once I got used to it, I was like, oh, okay. And also, I felt like this game, you could see some of the influence of, we played Donkey Kong Country 2, I think it was the previous week. And you could kind of see some of the influence, which I'd never played this game. Like the parts where, he moves between the ropes kind of feels like the rope levels from Donkey Kong Country, and some of the enemies and stuff. I don't know. It just kind of feels like, oh, I didn't realize some of this originated in this game. Yeah,
I think when I did that, when I was going through the ropes, I was like, oh yeah, this is like Donkey Kong Country 2. It's exactly, they brought the feature straight over from that to Donkey Kong Country 2.
I thought that was kind of cool that we played those games in succession that way and learned that fact. And I like that you can beat it.
Yeah,
you can beat it in our time frame.
Yeah, but my side, why I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, so I think I died like probably 3 seconds in the first level because I didn't realize whatever those creatures were. He decided can go down the vines, the blue, whatever they are.
Yeah, those little. I think. I don't know what they are, but yeah, they kind of feel like the Crocs from the later games, but I think they might be like mechanical things. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had that. I think this might be the very first game that had to have fall damage in it as well, because if you jump too high, you can actually die as well.
That threw me off. I kept trying to jump or like feel like, well, I'll just drop all the way down. But once so it took a little getting used to. I died a lot at first. But I stuck with it, and then like once you kind of figured out the mechanics, I felt like you could just kind of clear the first few stages, or the only few stages.
Yeah.
Which I think at the time, if you were given this game as a kid and like this was your big game for your Christmas or your birthday or whatever, that might feel a little disappointing once you beat it and then it's just the same thing.
Oh yeah, I've done this already.
Right. But like for a free game on an app like this, that's this piece of history, I feel like it was pretty cool to just, because it's like for me it's an easy game to recommend because it's like, hey, you got 10-30 minutes at most, you can go in and you can probably beat this game and see some of the influences on future Donkey Kong games.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, like I didn't enjoy the experience, but as you said, if it's nice and quick, just get this done in 10 minutes, cool. But yeah, not for me. Not for me.
I mean, I can say it's not like the best game ever, but there's a piece of history and all that too. Anything else on Donkey Kong Jr. before we talk about Doomsday Warrior?
I think 12 minutes I played on this, so not much at all for Donkey Kong
Beat it.
Jr.
Done.
Yeah, but it just not for me. I said I don't like. All I can say, don't like it where you jump and you automatically go forward a bit. Don't like that. Don't like it when if you're too far up, you just jump off the rope and you die from fall damage. One of the very first games to have that. I was actually thrown off by that.
I kept doing it like on that sort of like you just make the same mistake over and over again. I kept doing it on the first level at like the second rope or whatever because it feels like there was an enemy coming in and it's like why can't I just jump? Why am I dying? Yeah, it took me a while to realize it was I need to go down and then jump off.
Yeah. But yeah, there's nothing else just that.
Yeah, not a long game, not a lot to say about it.
Pretty much, yeah. This might be our shortest episode ever.
This might be, it might be a short episode, because the other game also doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to it.
No.
I guess we'll move on to it after just 5 minutes here or whatever.
Yeah.
Doomsday Warrior is the Super Nintendo game, and this was a 1992 game, I guess 93 in America, I don't know when and if. I don't know that this game actually came out in Europe from what I'm looking at online.
Don't ask me because I have no idea. I've never played this game.
Doesn't look like it did. I don't see a European release. So, but it kind of was like, I'm guessing, made to be like to capture the craze of Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, like the fighting games of the early 90s that was happening.
Oh, I thought you were going to go of the yonder years. I was hoping you were going to say that. Of the yonder years.
Which I was really into fighting games at that time as a like 10, 12-year-old or whatever I was around then. But I never heard of this one, and after playing it, you can see why. It doesn't have a lot to it.
It's so bad. I didn't like this one either.
Going back to old games is always tough, but like, man, it feels like they left out a lot of story and just it feels slow and heavy.
Yeah, I mean, when we played Super Tennis, this is the example off the top of my head. It's just Super Tennis. Oh, the cutscene plays straight into main menu. It's just like singles, doubles, circuit. That's it. Nothing. But then again, is there a story behind a tennis game, really?
Right. Yeah, and same thing with fighting games, right? There doesn't have to be a story, I guess, but it just feels like you go straight into this menu of picking your character, and there's no even nothing, and then you're just fighting somebody.
Whole lot of nothing. Pretty much. Both of these games. Nothing.
And it's got 7 people you can pick from. I don't know. Who did you play as a bunch of them, or did you pick one and stick with them? Or?
I picked one and stuck with it because it wasn't a male female. It was new form.
New form, yeah.
New
form is like a blobless, a sort of liquid metal kind of thing.
Yeah. And I just punched my desk. Ow. Anyway, we won't talk about just when you drop your hand and you get stupid fingers and you just punch your desk.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice. I kind of thought, let's just stick with one character.
Absolutely. Me too.
Figure out if I can learn anything from this character. So who did you choose?
I did the same thing. I was Grimrock, who is sort of like a dragon person. The lizard guy. Yeah. He was the most visually appealing to me of all the characters. I assume it's a he. I guess it could be a she.
They, just say they.
Yeah, Grimrock as a. Looking at it online, Grimrock is apparently from an alien world, so they are a they. Maybe. Who knows if they have genders on Grimrock's world?
Yeah.
But I think right before we started recording, we were kind of talking about this, and it took me a while to figure out how to do special moves and stuff. I like fighting games, and I figure I'll just jump into this game and start pushing buttons. And I'm like, it's SNES, but it still isn't using all the buttons. It's pretty simple for a fighting game, even for the time. Street Fighter had 6 buttons, right?
Yeah,
short, medium, strong for both punch and kick. But this game only had punch, kick, and jump.
Yeah.
And block. I guess it did have a block. It had 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I looked it up, and found out that all the moves were kind of like Street Fighter-esque, but only in terms of like, I don't know how much Street Fighter you played, but like Guile or Blanca or somebody where you like hold to charge back and then push forward and then an attack, and that's your special move.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story of that. When I played Street Fighter was one of the first games I ever played. It was that and Streets of Rage. My cousins, I was like, because I was struggling, and my cousins were older than me. He's like, how do you do this move? He said, well, with M. Bison, especially, I said, his move, his psionic whatever wave thing he does, I don't actually know the name of the move, but he said, if you hold whatever way you're facing, hold the right button, or the opposite way you're facing, 10 seconds or 5 seconds, and then
10,
press
that's a lot.
and press hold it 5 seconds, and then press like the kick button or so. You can do a special move. And when I did that, my mind was blown. I was like, oh, I can do special moves now. So I did not know this was like that in this game. I actually was sensible because I had my arse handed to me playing against the computer. I had it on easy mode, and I still
even on easy. Right. Well, I guess we should mention that at the menu, there's only your option is basically easy, hard, and then you go to the same menu of the 7 characters.
Yeah, and it was not good. I played it on stream, and you can see in the videos when you guys go there. I was getting, I don't know if it was a super move, I was getting thrown about, I was getting...
Yeah, the computer... There's also throws, like if you're right up against a character and you push, I think it's like forward, and I can't remember which one of the attacks, or maybe it's both kind, because you have like 2 different throws as everybody.
Well, when I looked it up, when I looked up on how to do moves and special moves, they were telling me how to do it like I was on the SNES again. So the buttons didn't correspond, and I said, hold forward and press Y. I said, but why is jump or something else? And it's just like, this doesn't... or like, I'm doing this, I'm going right this, or...
Oh no!
It doesn't match up with what I'm doing. It doesn't do anything, or the computer doesn't not give you a chance to do so anyway on easy.
It's not a very popular game, so when I looked it up, I was reading some old like FAQ that some mega fan of the game made. Some like 13-year-old from 1993 or whatever. And so I had to like kind of translate a little bit of like we were saying, figure out which buttons kick and all that.
Yeah.
But it still was hard. Even something about, fighting games are kind of muscle memories. Like, so I could kind of, after a few matches, I could get in the groove, and then I quit and I went back to it a day or two later, and I had the same, I had to relearn it again because it's just, I don't have the muscle memory for it.
And because to me this game was so bad, and I felt so humiliated and never play a fighting game ever again, joking really, that I would play it. It's just not this again. I didn't play it for very long, probably 12 minutes again. These games this week were not good at all. I did not enjoy these ones, but for different reasons. Like yes, they were hard, but not as hard as the other games we played. But they were more. It's just short. Well, they weren't short, but Donkey Kong Jr. was short, but.
Right. Well, this feels short too. Like light on story, light on explanation, not complicated. Both of them weren't very complicated, but a little bit clunky.
Yeah, that's what I was meant to say. That what you said.
So I do recommend people go check out Donkey Kong Jr. because I think takes 10 minutes of your time. You can beat an old game or whatever. I don't recommend Doomsday Warrior because I don't think you're going to be able to beat it in 10 minutes. I never actually got to any of the bosses. There are apparently 3 boss characters that once you beat all the 7 characters, and then I believe because at least in that FAQ it sounded like it, unless this was using some Game Shark or something, that you can play as one of the bosses after you beat them, but that the game locks up a lot of times, or if not always. So
that's definitely a Game Shark. That is definitely
it might have been a Game Shark or something then, but it didn't say that, so I was like, well, I don't know. It's not a very popular game then or now, so it's kind of hard to find great info about it. Made by a company called Lasersoft, who I don't really remember.
I don't even know. I don't know. I've never heard of them. But yeah, I think it's a good job we're doing this kind of mini series as well for people, so people actually know. What games to check out, and it's just avoid this one at all costs, sort of thing, and then play this one if you want to. I mean, I can agree with you with Donkey Kong Jr. as well. It's like, I think it's also for maybe younger gamers and for like older games like ourselves. So if you have a young child, maybe that might be a good way to start, depending. Yeah. But it's still kind of hard, kind of not, and very short. Hard. Yeah.
I think the fact that it's so short is what makes it accessible more than the difficulty level.
Yeah,
because it's kind of punishing, and all of these old games where like you don't, just like modern, which it's kind of a platformer, right? Modern platformers just are a little more forgiving, and same with like this fighting game. Like, man, like I said, I played as what was his name, Grizz something or other, Grimrock, and there was it's not like a glitch. It's just like if you were like right up against your enemy as Grimrock and you hit like the kick button, he like swings his tail, I think it was, or maybe I can't remember, one of his attacks, it just goes right through the other person. So like I think your ducking kick or something is like you swing your tail, and that was like generally a really good move. But like any of these old games, you kind of just have to play them a lot to learn the spacing and the timing and all that. But it was not intuitive because there's some glitchiness that, or not, glitch is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, just some like the hitbox on your enemy is really wonky if you're right up against them, which does not make sense. It would just go through them every time. You'd be like, that is dumb.
Well, it's the same with newer form. Like you would do, if you duck and you do his like kick, you do this like sliding kick where he actually almost looks like a shoe. To me, like a giant shoe. And if you keep pressing that, not only do you knock them down, but you can actually slide them right to the other side of the stage you're on, which is quite funny. You could possibly even cheese, which is really funny to do. I mean, I think I won one match out of all the matches I've done, and it was only by just doing that and jumping a lot as well, which I find. But apart from special moves and throws, what I didn't know how to do, that's the only way I won. So to me, this just feels like, because it's all glitchy. This reminds me, because I've done Mugen in the past, just unfinished Mugen characters in a Mugen game. That's just basically what it feels like to me. Not enough attacks and glitches galore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably all we have to say about these two games.
Yeah, there's literally nothing else. There's nothing else to talk about.
Let's pick our game for next week then. Our games, I should say. I'm going to start our random number generator here, our randomizer, as we're calling it. And you tell me when to stop here in a couple seconds.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds, a go.
All right. Here's what we got. We got Punch Out, featuring Mr. Dream.
Okay.
Which is, I think, what they like patched in for Mike Tyson, right? And then Wild Guns is our Super Nintendo game. So the original Punch Out for NES, which is a game I played quite a bit of back in the day, but it's been some time, so I'll be happy to revisit that. And Wild Guns, which is another game I think I have played. Wait, maybe not. It's just maybe similar to like what, the one that was big in the arcade, maybe Sunset Riders is what I'm thinking of. Do you know Wild Guns is one of those sort of like
like maybe House of Dead sort of shooters?
Sort of, but
I didn't want to say that. I don't want to act like I'm stupid.
No, like kind of like a Contra-esque, but like Western. You have a gun and you're like shooting enemies in sort of side-scrolly kind of. There's probably a term for this, run and gun, maybe. Anyway,
you can correct us if we're wrong as well.
The prep for this is obviously not great because it's a random selection we just made. But I don't know if I've ever played Wild Guns, but it's sort of a genre of games that it's like, I think at least. We'll talk more about it next time. And then Punch Out's a classic. You ever play Punch Out? No?
I've heard of it.
No, you've heard of it? You're going to get this. Is great. This is one of the big ones. Lil Mac from Smash Brothers. This is his appearance or first appearance.
Yeah, as I said, I'm playing like all the origins of like each character, which is amazing to make up the Smash Bros roster. So.
Yeah, you get to see them all. Well, there we go. tune back in. Thanks for listening and all that. We'll be talking next time about Punch-Out and Wild Guns. Thanks for listening to Playing It Wrong. This podcast is a collaboration between Super Switchheads and AntKeepsGaming. Check out the weekly Super Switchheads podcast, and also check out AntKeepsGaming on YouTube. Our music is provided by Bent Neatly. Thanks again. Bye.